When you're launching your business, it feels like everybody has advice. On one side, you hear, sell, sell, sell. The other says, build a reputation and trust. If you've ever tried to follow all that advice at once, you know how confusing it gets fast. Whose advice should you actually listen to? In this video, we're going to break down the entire spectrum from the sales-first direct response marketers who want every post to convert to the brand builders who believe in story and trust above all else. I'll show you where some of the most well-known experts fall on that line, and by the end, you'll know who you should really be listening to when you're starting your brand. And look, I get it, because I've been right where you are. I had a job, I quit, and I started my own thing. I've read all the books, watched all the videos, and followed every bit of advice I could find. And then I tested it, all of it. What I've found is that everyone's a little bit right and a little bit wrong. So let's start at one end of the spectrum, direct response. When you're scrolling through Instagram or YouTube, you've definitely seen this type of marketing. An ad pops up with someone saying they can help you double your revenue or get 100 new clients if you just click the link below. You land on a page with a huge headline, a countdown timer, and a big red buy now button. And then, like clockwork, you start getting emails every day, all pushing you toward the sale. This kind of approach actually has a name. It's called direct response marketing. It's all about getting people to take action right now. Every post, every ad, every word has one goal: sell something. And if you look at the spectrum of voices online, the people who live on this end are folks like Dan Kennedy and Russell Brunson. They've built their reputations teaching how to create offers, write persuasive copy, and build funnels that convert as quickly as possible. And honestly, there's a lot to learn from them, both in what to do and what not to do. And here's the thing, direct response marketing works, kinda. It gets attention fast. It forces you to clarify your offer, and if you're just starting out and need those first few sales, it can feel like a lifeline. There's a reason this approach has been around for decades. It's measurable, it's trackable, and it gives you feedback right away. And that's the good part. But the problem is, when you live only on this side of the spectrum, you can start to look and feel like a scam. It builds tension, not trust. And if you're only measuring success by how many people buy today, you never get the chance to build a relationship that keeps them coming back tomorrow. So yeah, take what's useful from this camp. Learn to write clear offers. Learn to speak directly to pain points. But don't let that become your whole identity. And that's why some voices tell you to do the exact opposite. Stop selling and build trust first. Branding. You've probably seen the other extreme too. The business pages that look more like art galleries than marketing. Everything's beautifully designed. Every color, every word, every photo. But there's not a single call to action in sight. Or those videos where every line is about purpose, values, and storytelling, but no one ever asks you to do anything. No offers, no urgency, just vibes. Well, this is the brand first approach. The total opposite of direct response. Instead of focusing on quick conversions, it's all about building trust, shaping perception, and creating an identity people remember. And if you look at the spectrum of voices online, this side is where people like Chris Do, Marty Neumeier, and Donald Miller live. They teach clarity, story, design, and emotional connection. They believe that if you can make people feel something, the sales will follow naturally. And again, there's a lot to learn here in what they get right and in what they sometimes take too far. There's a lot to love about the brand first mindset. It's about earning trust instead of demanding attention. It's about making people feel something when they see your work. And it's about creating something that lasts, a business that people actually believe in. That's powerful. And honestly, most of the great brands we admire were built on that kind of foundation. But here's where this side can quietly hold you back. When everything you make has to be perfect, nothing ever gets out. You end up overthinking the story, fine-tuning every little detail, waiting for everything to feel ready. And when you finally do share something, it's beautiful, but does it actually move people to the next step? You can have the best branding in the world, but if you're not putting yourself out there and asking for engagement, it stays invisible. And I'll be honest, this is where I lived for years. My background is in brand. It's what I studied, it's what I believe in, and it shaped how I saw everything about business. But over time, I've learned that you can't just build a brand and wait for people to notice. You need both brand and response if you actually want to grow. So, how do you blend the two? a healthy balance. Here's where things start to get really interesting. The truth is, the direct response camp and the branding camp kind of roll their eyes at each other. One side thinks the other is all fluff and feelings. The other side thinks they're pushy and short-sighted. But if you stick around long enough in either world, something funny happens. The direct response marketers eventually realize that if they want people to buy from them more than once, they need a real brand. They start caring about their tone, their look, their story. All the stuff they used to say didn't matter. The branders, they eventually realize that you can't just inspire people forever. You need a clear offer, a way to measure if what you're doing is actually working. The irony is, both sides are chasing the same goal: more new and returning customers. They're just coming at it from opposite directions. And the magic actually happens when you mix them. But finding that balance isn't as simple as splitting the difference. How do you actually mix the two? It starts by understanding what each side is really good at. Direct response teaches you discipline. It forces you to make an offer, test it, and measure what happens. You get quick feedback and learn what people actually respond to. Branding gives that effort meaning. It turns those quick wins into something people remember, something they want to come back to. Because while a funnel might get someone to buy once, a brand is what makes them buy again. When you combine them, you get something powerful. You use the precision of direct response to test your ideas, but you wrap it in a brand that people actually trust. That's the balance most businesses never find. Everyone's busy arguing which side is right, while the people who figure out how to mix them quietly win. The direct response people get addicted to short-term results, and the brand people get stuck trying to be timeless. But the truth is, they need each other to work. Your message should make people feel something, and then give them something clear to do about it. But whose advice should you actually listen to? Because it's actually not either one of these camps. It's something else entirely. Who should you listen to? So, if it's not the sales first voices, and it's not the brand first voices, and even the middle ground can get a little messy, who should you actually listen to? The truth is, the most important voice isn't any of those experts. It's your audience and yourself. Think about it like a volume knob. On one end, you've got the people blasting the music so loud, it's just noise. On the other, people whispering so quiet, no one can hear it. And your audience? Well, they're the crowd on the dance floor. They'll tell you if it's too loud, too quiet, or just right. Your job is to listen and adjust. And that's the part most people miss. Because this isn't about choosing a side, it's about choosing to listen. Listen to what resonates. Listen to what gets people excited. Listen to what they share, ask questions about, or can't stop talking about. And listen to what feels right to you. If going full direct response makes you feel better about knowing your return on investment, lean that way. If going full branding makes you feel better about your own integrity, lean into that. That's where your direction comes from. At Fledgeful, this is exactly how we think. You need both sides, brand and response. You need the strategy and the soul. You need to put things out there, see how people react, and shape your brand as you go. Because if you only focus on brand, you stay invisible. And if you only focus on sales, you stay forgettable. But when you listen, test, and adjust, you find the setting that's just right. Here's the real takeaway. You don't have to pick a side. You don't have to be all sales or all story. The people worth listening to are the ones who remind you to listen to your audience and yourself. Because both branding and direct response are chasing the same thing, trust that leads to action. And when you balance both, you stop guessing and start growing. And if you're ready to start doing that, I put together a free guide that walks you through exactly how to listen to your audience the right way without wasting any time or money. It's linked below.